Bonjour and welcome back to my channel. Claude here. Today I'm going to be doing a oracle deck review of the Yggdrasil Norse Divination Cards, which you can see right here. Now I've had this oracle deck for quite a while, but I didn't want to review it immediately because I wanted to get to know it. It's a very rich and deep oracle deck, and so I took my time to familiarize myself with it because it is all about Norse legends, folklore, history, whatever you want to call it, and it really goes in depth. It's a beautiful deck. I cannot wait to talk to you about it. So everything is going to be time-stamped in the description box below in case you don't want to hear about my rambling on about the box, the guidebooks, and so on and so forth, and you just want to see the cards. You can just click on the cards and then you'll see what it looks like. But so this is how it comes. It comes in a very sturdy box. So this is the front, the sides. It's published by Llewellyn, and it is 81 card deck. And then you've got the price here for US in dollars, retail price. And the back. I'm going to read the back to you. Discover your destiny in the Yggdrasil. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the Nordic names, this is not my language, I'll do my best. So based on the powerful mythology of the Norse, this 81 card divination deck brings the wisdom of the ancients into your life. Intricate pen and ink drawings are soulful representations of the Eddas, the stunning written accounts of the legends of old. These cards, along with the informative guidebook, are designed to be used for divination, guidance, and spiritual connection. Created by a renowned artist and long-time participant of the Heathen Revival, this kit is a welcome addition to those who desire to work more deeply with the Nordic pantheon. So that's what it looks like. So it opens like this. You can see it's very pretty. And then you've got Bifrost, and that's the actual guidebook. So really like the box. Now let's move on to the guidebook, and then I'll talk to you about the cards. So this is the spine and the back. So this is made by Haukur Halldorsson with G. Hauksdottir. Now my husband is of Scandinavian descent, and he gifted me this deck and said to me they're the real deal because their names are like it used to be in the old times, which made me chuckle because it means son of older. And the Dottir means daughter of Hauks, so she is his daughter, which I thought was nifty. So I'm going to read to you about the author. So Haukur Halldorsson and his daughter Gunhildur Hauksdottir are Icelandic artists living and working between Iceland, Denmark, and Germany. Both adhere to Heathenry, or Asatru, as viewed by the Icelandic Asatru community. Halldorsson is one of the original members active in reviving the traditional Nordic mythology of Iceland in the 70s, and has devoted his art practice to Nordic and Northern European mythologies and folklore. Hauksdottir grew up in heathendom, surrounded by folkloric illustrations, stories, poems, and nature. For the Yggdrasil deck, father and daughter came together with Halldorsson's illustrations, their combined interpretation, and Hauksdottir's words to illuminate the messages of the mythology and folklore and to make them accessible for contemporary readers. So this is what the book looks like. This is the table of contents. You've got an introduction to the cards, which I'm going to go through with you in a minute, and it is divided in 9 chapters. So you've got chapter 1, the world of the gods, chapter 2, the world of giants, chapter 3, the world of light elves, chapter 4, the world of ice, chapter 5 is the world of humans, chapter 6, the world of dwarves, chapter 7, the world of dark elves, chapter 8, the world of fire, and chapter 9, the world of the dead. And you have a verse 18, the Voluspa, from the prophecy of the Edda, which obviously you can read if you want, but I thought that was a beautiful opening. Feel free to pause if you want to. So in the introduction to the cards, he talks about, and they talk about, should I say, about how it's based on Nordic mythology, and that, it's multi-layered, and there's contradictory events because it was difficult to find records basically when it comes to the Nords. It's based on the Eddas, the prose and the poetic Edda, which obviously are the references, which is very good. And so he explains how it came about, how they've decided to go about it. And obviously Yggdrasil, which is the name of the oracle, is the tree of life. And he explains that in and around it you have 9 worlds, which is why you've got 9 chapters. And they are all interrelated with branches and roots. So it's very exciting, it really explains it all. Then there is a little section about pronunciation of unique Icelandic letters. I'm still working on this, I'm really struggling. Using the cards, so it tells you what to do, and basically it comes with one spread, which I will explain in a minute. So they explain the animal symbolism, the importance of the circle, the history of the creation in Nordic paganism, the importance of the elements, water, earth, wind and fire, the importance of number 9, 9 realms, and in the deck there are 9 characters for each world, which is why you've got 81 cards. I'm sorry about my dogs, they will bark at anything. The cardinal direction, and then the spread, which is the spread on the Yggdrasil tree. Okay, which is there, and you can see I've taken notes because I wanted to know what each position stood for. It is explained in depth, under the placements, but I wanted it there just to remind myself. So the first placement in the tree is the world of gods, so that's the seeker's main aspiration. The second position is the world of the dead with deep obstacles. The third position is the world of light elves, and that's the influence of the future and the conscious mind. The fourth placement, which is the world of dark elves, is the seeker's past influence. The fifth position in the spread is the world of human, the seeker's ego. Then the sixth placement is the world of ice, the seeker's instinctive thinking, the subconscious. The seventh placement is the world of giants, so the position of the seeker's challenges. Number 8 is the world of dwarfs, which is craftsmanship, industriousness. And the 9th position is the world of fire, the origin of catastrophe or strength and warning. Now, it is explained as you go along that if one of the 9 characters falls in the world of which it belongs to, obviously the characteristics are reinforced. Obviously if they fall into another world, it's not as strong. I hope that makes sense. And then it moves on to explaining each of the gods and characters, and as I said, you have 9 for each of them. So you get an explanation of the first world, so you get that for all of them, how to pronounce it in Icelandic, where is it located on the tree, so what it represents for your spread, and then a little bit about what that world is. And then it moves on to the 9 characters, so you've got Odin for the first world, and you get quite a lot, double pages, even sometimes a bit more, Frigg, and so on and so forth. And he does this for every single one of the worlds. You'll see some highlighting because I'm like that. I like to, make my books my own. So you see, for instance, chapter 4, that's the 4th world, the world of ice, the little blurb about the world, and then it goes into the description. So that's the guidebook. It is very, very well explained, very true to the prose Edda and the poetic Edda. I read them both because of my husband. It's really, really interesting if you are into Norse mythology and folklore. So even the book on its own, to me, was a wealth of knowledge. I really enjoyed working with it. I'm still working with it, but So there's the book. So then let's move on to the cards. So you see they come like that, with the traditional little ribbon from Llewellyn's. Let me put the box away because otherwise there's not enough space. And this is the back, and this is glossy but not overly glossy. I've got average size hands, so you can see they're standard oracle, bigger than tarot, but they're not unmanageable. I've got decks that are bigger than that. It's plain white on the sides, and quality stock. I mean, I'm happy with it. It's very bendy, but it doesn't get damaged. Yeah, I think it's a really nice stock. I'm happy with that, I have no complaints. Now, what I forgot to mention right at the beginning, this is a black and white, obviously, deck, because when I read to you the back of the box, I was telling you that this is to do with pen and ink drawings. It's beautiful. I mean, they're so talented. I was really, really shocked by how nice they look. So let me stop talking. So let's start. So the first word, now I'm going to use the book in an attempt to pronounce the name of each of the characters well, because it does tell you here. So I will try, okay? Please be patient with me. So from the first word you have Odin. I want you to see. And this is Omniscience, Wisdom, Poetry and Language. So you get some keywords and then obviously a full explanation. The second one is Frigg. Then we have Freya. This one I should be able to pronounce. Sif. Balder. Now I think this is pronounced Njordur. Yeah. Njordur. Bragi. And as I said, you have keywords, so you see poetry, language, expression to help you. And then you have Nana. And then this is Gersemi and Norse, I think. Okay, then we move on to the second world. And you've got Thor. And the keywords associated with Thor are strength, fertility and protection. Tyr, for conflict, counsel and justice. Hygir, hospitality, abundance and currents. Ran or Ran, intuition, subconscious and currents. Ymir is the next one, creativity, novelty, artistic struggle. Mimir, which is omniscient, advisor and counsel. Skrimir, deception, undermining of confidence. Thiassi, aging, maturing and healing. And I like that the keywords are not always what you expect of an oracle deck. I find that I find it very practical, down to earth. Skirnir, messenger, diplomat. And then we move on to the third world, which is the light elves. So you've got, oh, this is a mouthful. Uda Brunur, decision, performance and impact. Verdandi, the future. Urdr, the present. Freyr, spring and new beginnings. Alfrun, feminine intellect. Soul, ambition and drive. Valley, reconciliation. Gurd, artfulness. And Fula, keeper of secret. So then we're on chapter 4, so the fourth world. You've got Faun Yotra, temperance. Nerthus or Nertus, peace council. Nifl, darkness and fog. Grimnir, that's the balance of contraries. Irokin, which is judgment and final decision. Air, healing and medicine. Skadi, ambition, the hunt. I particularly like this card. I love the bear with the female. And Razuelgur, reflection, very pretty too. Frosty, mindfulness, lightness and impermanence. And then we move on to world number 5, starting with Heimdall. If you've watched the Avengers, you would have heard of Heimdall. And this is for gateway, opportunity or warning. Then you have Asker, the first human man. Embla, the first human woman. Gevshun, claiming new ground. Forseti, fairness and judgment. Siyen, loyalty. Dagger, clarity and novelty. That's pronounced Lin, reassurance and protection. I actually quite like the energy of this card. And we have Jarl and Erna, ambition and collaboration. Then this is the 6th world. So we have Durin, the doorkeeper, navigation. Then we have Skald, the past. Really like this, with the idea of the weaving. Hulu, ambition and competitiveness. Eden, magical youth and rejuvenation. Gandalfur, wisdom. And yes, I know, I immediately thought of Gandalf. But apparently Gandalfur is one of the dwarves who resides in Völuspá. He is the wise sorcerer and scholar. And in this deck he represents a mentor, a teacher, an educator. So a bit of a, suppose, hermit energy there. Next is Broker, master craftsmanship and diligence. Dellinger, beauty and vanity. Irpa, diligence and resourcefulness. Hauksdottir, guarding the treasure. And then we move on to the seventh world, starting with Amrun, the known unknown. That's a very mysterious card. Dari, conflict behind the mask. Let me make sure that, yeah. Then Darud, suspense behind the mask. Mani, unresolved emotions. I really like this card. Gui, transformation. That's beautiful too. Merkur, bravery, lifting the nightmare. Sin, opportunity. Nya, messenger of the gods. And the rule of 3, which is informed decision. You know, I really find this oracle deck very haunting. Then you've got the 8th world, which is Muspel, Lord of Misfits. Surtur, the Fiery Wrath. Sinmara, Nightmare. Oh, jumped one on the book. Aimnir, the Spirit of Fire. Loki, the Cunning God of Many Faces. Quasir, the Crafty Mead of Poetry. Nagelfar, the Ship of Conflict. You can clearly see the conflict here. I think the artwork really conveys the energy of the card really nicely. Reda, the Spirit of Lightning. Sorry. Vida, Berserker, the Warrior. Hell is the first of the final world, which is the world of the dead, so ruler of fear. Ganglot, sluggishness and procrastination. It's nice to see this kind of darker theme, you know, about procrastinating, which you don't often see in oracles. I mean, I know you do, but generally speaking, oracles tend to be very, very light, and I like the fact that this touches everything. Then you've got Ganglati, tardiness and lethargy. Eredian, disorder. Mudgut, the guardian of Yalabru. Oh, I jumped one. Yalabru, the crossing between life and death. So you have the guardian of this crossing, and then you have the actual crossing. Nut, perpetual desire, which I think is really, really nicely conveyed here. Hermodra, the brave traveller. And Ermin, reconciliation of opposites. So that's all the cards. So yes, I really like this deck. I think that it is worth a deep dive, you know, spending some time getting to know it. I think that the artwork is incredible. It's really haunting. It's a well-balanced deck. You've got light cards and darker cards. I love the fact that there's only one spread, which is the Tree of Life spread, with 9 placements. All of it is really nicely explained in the guidebook, so you really are guided, and you learn so much about the folklore and the mythology of the Norse, which I thought was really it's really interesting. And I don't know if you can see from here, but these are the placements, you know, for the for all of the world. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is where you put how you put your cards basically. And that was my little notes about what they are. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it was a bit long, but it is a big deck, and I did feel that it was worth going in depth with it, you know, to show just how beautiful this is. If you have it, let me know what you think. If you don't, you're thinking about getting it, let me know as well. It's available on Amazon. So yeah, but I personally think it's well worth a mention. I've not seen anybody using it on YouTube or even talking about it. I mean, you know, that may well be because I don't see everything, obviously. I can only see what YouTube shows me, but I thought that was worth it. I've also reviewed the Runic Tarot deck, which I'll leave you a card here, and I've reviewed an independent deck called Odin's Playbook Tarot deck, which is beautiful, and I'll leave you a card here as well, if you're into, you know, the kind of Norse mythology. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll see you again very soon. Until next time, au revoir.